It's time for another dev discussion this month, but I'm gonna switch it up for y'all, right? Instead of one topic, I'm gonna add another. And those topics are camera perspective and environments. You would think since we just saw the Sand Squall Desert not too long ago, we'd be talking about it and the immersion it could possibly bring since we've been in the Riverland for years, right? But I'm not seeing anything, which is why we're gonna get into it here today. So let me start this off by saying that I think with the track that Ashes of Creation is on, they do have a chance at becoming the most, if not one of the most immersive MMOs out there. We've talked about this before with nodes, destructible environments, dynamic environments, and more. But is there a way to go deeper on how you view these events? Our first question is, what camera perspective do you prefer in terms of both angle and distance from your character? I think this is a pretty straightforward question and answer. I don't know anyone who wants their camera zoomed out to the point they can see from the Riverlands to the Sand Squall Desert. Now, when it comes to playing in third person, this is where it makes sense to have that balanced camera setting. You want it to be wide enough to take in the world, but you don't want it to be up super close, right? Because that's gonna break the immersion and it's gonna be super uncomfortable. Do me a favor and just back up just a little. Okay, thank you. There are cases where people play a game like ESO in first person, and that allows for a heightened sense of immersion. But for a game like Ashes of Creation, where they are focusing on third person, I think it makes the most sense to have a bigger and wider camera for the world compared to an up close and tight one. Second question, do different situations call for different perspectives? I will say the community ran with this, and for the most part, everyone is in agreement, including me. To say it plainly, for the PvE content, you're going to have that camera that we spoke about, not too zoomed out, but big enough to take in the world around you to where you feel like you're there. Now, when it comes to PvP, you're gonna want your camera zoomed out. The reason for this is to watch for your surroundings. Think of all the chaos that's going to be happening when it comes to sieges, wars, and naval battles. Each of these pieces of content are going to be extremely insane, intense, and hype, and you're going to want the advantage when it comes to knowing where your enemies are coming in from. Our second topic is going to be on environments, and this is where I really want to hone in on the Sand Squall Desert. Our first question is, what are some of the elements that make for a more realistic or lifelike world when you play a game, from NPCs to environments and beyond? If we go back to the lighting showcase in the Sand Squall Desert, it opens up perfectly from an immersion point of view. There are fireflies flying around, you can hear insects in the background, the moon is shining bright along with the stars, and we can't forget about the explosion coming from another moon. Within the first 5 minutes of this stream, the tone was already set, and you knew what we were in for. Something similar happens during the fall season in Vera too, with the leaves falling. We saw this during the Artisanship Showcase. And when it comes to the Sand Squall Desert, dog, I think it'd be so dope to see a sandstorm brewing every once in a while. We have the dynamic weather system, the seasons as well, and those two systems alone are going to provide so many different feelings of immersion for us. This is super nitpicky, but when Steven was on his mount, I noticed that his mount left no footprints within the sand at all. And although the character that Steven was playing left some footprints, I do believe that they could be turned up since they were fairly hard to notice. Again, these are all super picky things when it comes to the conversation on immersion. Stepping away from the Sand Squall Desert for a moment, I think the node update did a phenomenal job with showcasing how NPCs act. It seemed as if everyone had a job or an objective they needed to be doing, and which turned out to make the game feel more alive. And if nodes are going to be the main driving point for Ashes of Creation, they must be interesting. Even the NPCs that were standing around looked like they had something going on or were waiting for something that was about to happen. You have to remember as well, we only saw a village, which is a stage 3 node. So what is a metropolis going to look like with all of those NPCs? Our last question is, how much does realism matter to you generally? Alright, here's what I think. The game doesn't need to be real for it to be real to me. The reason I say this, and I'll give 2 examples. 1, World of Warcraft. You knew it was coming. World of Warcraft is very toony, but it doesn't change the fact that WoW is, well, WoW. You have all of these MMOs that came out years after that, and we're trying to copy and just replicate the success that World of Warcraft had. Bro, you can look funny and still be the man. It's all about how you play your cards. My second point being that someone will like what you're doing. We all clown on New World, but that game does have a line of people waiting to play it. Still. I don't think immersion has to always mean, this game is so good, I want to live in this world and go after X, Y, and Z. You can just have a really fun game that you're consistently getting lost in. And that's exactly what everyone in every genre is trying to get back to. The answer is simple though. Just make something people will enjoy. I'm gassed that Ashes has realism to it, but that's not what I'm excited for. And that's not what drew me in the first place. It's about the type of content, the system, in today's society, the people making it, because there are so many companies that just want your money, unfortunately. I think when you put all of these things together, a proper camera angle and a world that's consistently trying to keep you engaged with their destructible environments, dynamic weather, right? And a world that's ever changing, you're going to get a very immersive product. If Intrepid continues to expand off of everything they got going on now, then I think the ceiling is pretty high for them. The Sand Squall Desert is looking very good, as well as the Riverlands, so I can only imagine what else we're going to be seeing once the time is ready. Yo man, 2 weeks until we see the Bard showcase, and I just need a little bit more time. I'm gonna be doing something special for the showcase, but I'll announce it in my next video. Just give me a little more time. I think we're at the point where we're eating, man, honestly, and everything is freaking lit. Hey man, what are your thoughts on how we can have more immersion in our MMO? Please let your boy know in the comment section below. If you're looking for a guild, now is the time. I'm trying to tell you, man, come rock out with us in Memorandum. Yo, it's super lit, really community based, and we're striving to be great. All right. If you haven't created an Ashes of Creation account yet, feel free to use my link in the description. If you're looking for a Discord to join, you can also join my community Discord. We chill, we have community nights every Friday night. If you want to stay up to date with me, feel free to follow me on X and Twitch, where I stream every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and the live monthly updates. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. You would think, since we just saw the Sand Squall Desert like a few months ago, we'd be talking about it and the immersion it could possibly bring, right? Okay, so Rox wants to say what's up. Okay.